Time now for an in-depth look at the market news this afternoon, and for that I'm joined on the line by Mr. Daniel Yu, global strategist at Yuanta Securities. Mr. Yu, thanks for coming on.
Thank you for having me.
So we're a day away from finding out whether the Fed is cutting rates again. There's widespread expectation that it will, but will it, and if so, what happens?
Sure. As you have said that they'll be meeting for next 2 days and they will decide on the further rate cuts. So far, since July 30th, 31st, they've been cutting interest rate by twice. So it's been down by 0.5 percentage point. If they cut one more time tonight, there will be another 0.25%. So overall, 0.75% cut. Now, in terms of whether they will cut, right now, the likely chance of the cutting, the projection is that 98.3% expects rate cut tonight. So the possibility is very high. With that expectation, equity market in general did quite well last 1 week or so. But yesterday, market took some breather as Dow was down slightly by 0.07%, S&P was down 0.08%, and the growth stock Nasdaq was down 0.59%. But that's because Nasdaq was up quite strongly in the previous 2 days by more percentage than S&Ps. So people are expecting rate cut, but they're just waiting till actual results comes out. They are taking some breather. So the market seems to be taking and see what happens to the rate cut and then what would be the commentary coming up from the FOMC.
Yeah, and as you said, stocks on Wall Street ended slightly lower overnight. The KOSPI here in Korea today picking up where it left off the day before, continuing to fall a fair bit. What's the story in the markets today?
Sure. I think that people are worried that there is still concern about Fed might change its tone from continuation of rate cut to normal rate cut in the future. If the economy seems to be fairly stable, then Fed will probably finish with their so-called insurance rate cut. They've done that in 1998 by 3 times rate cut just for the purpose of the insurance because of the Asian market had a very strong, very sharp drop in terms of the prices, and the asset prices were crashing down in most of the Asian countries. So they used the insurance factor, so they cut 3 times interest rate at that time. But after that, inflation picked up very aggressively, and they didn't cut it anymore. And in fact, year after that, they start to raise interest rate very aggressively. So I guess people are concerned that if the Fed changes its tone, then the additional liquidity might not be coming in. And they may be thinking that that is a negative news, and therefore they're taking some breather in terms of equity market. So if you look at the Asian market, it's down slightly. KOSPI is down about 0.6%. Kosdaq is down 0.5%. Most of the Asian markets down anywhere between 0.2 to 0.5%. Shanghai continues to trade, but nevertheless is still down about 0.6% or so. And I think that until the rate cut it actually happens, until we start to see the economy stabilizing, people might be taking some profits if Fed says they're not going to cut any more interest rate.
Got it. Well, shifting gears a little, cryptocurrency has been making the news this week with respect to China. Xi Jinping himself talking about it, and there's an official at the PBOC calling for the adoption of blockchain in banking. What's happening over there?
Sure. As you said, the cryptocurrency prices jumped drastically towards last weekend because Xi Jinping have said that in the meeting that China needs to focus more on blockchain technology. Clearly, this is the technology that leads the Bitcoins and all the cryptocurrencies. And the cryptocurrency price, the Bitcoin price soared as high as 40% over the weekend, and it continues to be fairly strong at this point in time. Now, the question is this, as U.S. being the so-called key currency market, whereas the renminbi is not. So clearly, when they are competing with the U.S., they think that they're in a back seat. So therefore, it's difficult to compete with the U.S. So one way of solving that problem is actually introducing some different means of a trading mechanism. So obviously, Bitcoin or the blockchain technology is something that is a necessity for China. China is clearly trying to focus on fourth industrial revolutions, and anything that related to digital currencies is something that is related to that fourth industrial revolution. So therefore, the overall process of China will be pro cryptocurrencies because they're looking into the next generation as the next era of the leader in the global economy.
All right, Mr. Yu, that's where we have to leave it today. Thanks so much for coming on. We appreciate your insights.
Thank you very much.